Apparently, Justin Trudeau thinks gas prices like these here on Vancouver Island just aren't high enough because on April 1st, his government, supported by the NDP, is planning to increase the carbon tax by 23%, even though we already have the highest gas prices in all of North America and already pay between 63 and 77 cents a liter just in taxes each time we go to fill up our tanks. And what the government refuses to acknowledge, refuses to admit, is that when you increase the price of gas, when you increase the price of fuel, of energy, you also literally increase the price of everything else in our society. When you tax the farmer that grows the food and you tax the trucker who transports the food, you also tax everybody who ends up buying the food when the costs are inevitably passed on to them. And they're doing this in the middle of a cost of living crisis and some of the worst inflation we've seen in 40 years. But not to worry, Justin Trudeau says, because you're all going to get this money back in some magic rebate. Unfortunately, it turns out that that was another lie, as the nonpartisan Parliamentary Budget Office, or PBO, found that the average family in every Canadian province would be worse off, and some stuck with bills as high as $911 even after the rebate. And here in BC, it's actually even worse, because here the provincial NDP government collects all of the carbon tax revenue, and most British Columbians don't see a single cent returned to them, which is probably why the Premier David Eby got so defensive when Pierre Poilievre called on him to demand that Justin Trudeau spike or cancel the April 1st carbon tax hike. Here, take a look.
I don't live in the Pierre Poilievre campaign office and baloney factory.
Of course, Poilievre had the perfect response, saying Eby's constituents, quote, are forced to eat bologna because they can't afford anything else after 8 years of the NDP and Liberal coalition. And British Columbians, it seems, tend to agree, with voters backing Poilievre by 20% over Eby on this particular issue. Look, the truth is, the carbon tax is just another tax grab on hard-working Canadians to fund the fantasies and ideologies of Liberal and NDP politicians. It does nothing for the environment. It ships our jobs overseas and just takes more money out of the pockets of hard-working people. And the thing is, if the Liberals and the NDP are re-elected, and this is true, they are promising to quadruple the tax over the next few years. So, quadruple the tax, or as Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre says, axe the tax. Next election, the choice is yours.